I was in a pickle about doing this video because while I have said that we are going to do all the 30th anniversary comics, and we've done Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles, the Chaotix one came out this year. In fact, just a couple weeks ago did the Chaotix annual come out. And I thought, okay, I'll do the Chaotix one. Why not? Why wait? Let's just do the Chaotix one now, and then we have every 30th anniversary comic finished, and that will be this little series. However, I was then made aware that the writer of this comic was Daniel Barnes. Daniel Barnes wrote Scrapnik Island, for those who don't know. And I have to say, I think Daniel Barnes is a pretty good writer. I enjoyed Scrapnik Island. I thought Scrapnik Island was quite fun. There is a problem with Daniel Barnes, though, which is the problem with most people in the comic book industry today. Daniel Barnes does not shut the fuck up on social media and says a lot of dumb shit. So, because of that, and because of a lot of the things he said, I was like, I don't know if I want to cover this. But I then thought to myself, I can separate art from artist. I can think the artist sucks, but still enjoy what they put out. You know, you have to do that with a lot of things nowadays. So I can do that, and I'm committed to the bit. We're doing all the 30th anniversary comics, so I'm going to do it. So, without further ado now, let's get into it. So we start at the Smithsonian Museum, where Amy is giving Sonic a bit of a history lesson. She's taking him around a bunch of the exhibits, and she's, telling him what they're all about. And Sonic's like, whoa, you're pretty good at this. I didn't know all about this. And she's like, I'm so happy. She's super happy to impress Sonic. And then, in her monologue, she's like, I stayed up all night and looked up every single one of these exhibits. Right? This is her plan. Right? She gets to spend a whole day with Sonic telling him about all this stuff, which I do like. This, to me, is Amy. This is Amy Rose. So in just the first 2 pages, Daniel Barnes has proven he is a better writer of Amy Rose than Ian Flynn is. Now, that's not a hard thing. A 4-year-old girl could write Amy Rose better than Ian, but props given to Daniel for that. However, Amy's plan is interrupted because Vector shows his big crocodile ass up. Amy is not happy. Her day is being ruined. Her disappointment is immeasurable. How dare you, Vector, ruin her date? Sonic asks where Charmy and Espio are off, and Vector's like, they're somewhere around. And Vector explains that one of their first ever big cases was solved in this museum, and today is the anniversary. And Sonic is about to ask about what happened. Amy goes, oh no, we don't have any time. It's bye, Vector, bye. And he goes, what the heck, I'll tell you. And Amy's fucking mad. So Vector starts telling them about the case. And I have to say, this part here, I love. It's all black and white, and they do it like a noir story. Vector is narrating it all like a cliche noir detective. I enjoy this bit where the backstory of it all is done black and white like a noir detective story. That is really cool. So they are hired by someone called Magani, and she works for the headmaster of the Smithsonian Institute, who is a retired archaeologist. So when the Chaotix get there, he kind of sized them up. And he's like, Vector's like, it was a little kid, some ninja-looking guy, and me, a would-be gumshoe who was still green, So he gives them a card, and he's like, what do you make of this? Charmy takes the card, and after great detective work goes, it's a card. Fucking promote him. He's got him, boys. If Charmy was there, we would have found Jack the Ripper a lot sooner. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Sherlock Holmes got nothing. This kid's got him. So, upon looking more at the card, Vector deduces this is the calling card of Enigma, an elusive master thief who has never been caught. So, Vector asks, what do you think Enigma is planning to steal? And the headmaster's like, that's why you're here. I want you to find out what Enigma could possibly steal and stop them from doing it. Right? So and Vector's like, don't worry, the Chaotix are on the case. And then fucking hell do I love this. Charmy pushes like a little vase over. And then the headmaster just goes, leave. Yep, okay. That's fucking gold. So Vector brings himself out of reminiscing and sees Sonic and Amy are gone. Amy has taken her and Sonic off somewhere else, and she's now showing him a suit of armor worn by the Eastern Mountain Lord's ancient warlords. She then says that weapons they used were shurikens, which, I was cringing so bad at that. I know that it's because Amy then gets corrected very shortly after, but my god, I went, ugh. But no, she is corrected by Espio, who appears next to her and tells her it's actually shuriken. Espio now takes over telling the story, and I love as he's about to do it, Amy's like shaking her head saying, no, don't do it, don't do it. He goes on and she's fucking mad. She's pouting Amy. So Espio starts doing it. His style is different than Vector's. His style is still it's still not colored in, but like the outlines of the characters and all that is purple for him. So Espio, he starts taking over the little narration. So it shows Espio. He heard a noise. He started investigating. He eventually ended up right where they are, which is, this outdoor area. And using his great ninja detection skills, he found Enigma, and the two of them begin to fight. And it's a pretty cool fight, I will have to say. But eventually, after it all, Espio is beaten. He is beaten because Enigma throws a throwing knife at one of the displays, and Espio jumps to catch the display to stop it from breaking, and by then, Enigma had run off. But now, when they come out of reminiscing again, Sonic and Amy are gone, and this time, their, dust lines is the fucking Sonic Adventure art poses, which is sweet. So, Amy takes Sonic to a vase, and she's about to start telling about the vase, and Charmy pops out the fucking vase, thinking we're playing hide and seek, and Amy's like, let me guess, you want to tell us about your anniversary too? And Charmy goes, no? What anniversary? And then Vector shows up, and eventually, it's time for Charmy to take over the narration. Sonic whispers to Amy, just like, let's just let him do it. They're almost done. We can go along with the museum, I promise, after. Alright, so in Sonic, he understands what's going on here. So now, it's time for Charmy. And my fucking god, is the Charmy bit fucking great, because when he narrates, it's done in crayon. That's gold. And they talk like Charmy does. They don't speak properly. They are speaking like how Charmy thinks they speak. Like, for example, Espio says, I know a lot about this shiny thingy because I travel a lot and I study ninja things. And when Charmy messes up, they still say it, and then the text bubble will come up with, Vector or Espio correcting him. It's fucking great. I love it. He has Vector say, forget about it. And Vector goes, that's not what I said. I do like that. So it is deduced that a lot of the artifacts that are in this museum were actually stolen. Because Espio noticed when Enigma threw her throwing knife at the exhibit and he, stopped the exhibit from getting broken. It's actually a crystal from Cascade City. And he knows it's too important for them to ever give to a museum. And then when they started researching all the other exhibits, it's the same thing. All of these have been stolen. So that is what the headmaster has done. He has stolen various artifacts and put them up in the museum. And the way they have the headmaster speak, of course it's meant to be childish because it's Charmy, but they keep referring that he is so rich and important, he can do what he wants, and I am rich. And he is bad because he is rich and important. Now, Daniel, I think the subtlety has lost you at this point, if I can understand what you're trying to say and how you feel. His whole scheme is revealed because as he's, doing his evil villain monologue where he's like, yes, I did it all, Charmy accidentally pressed the speaker button. Okay. And Vector is, so that was the case. So they actually didn't solve the case, to be honest with you, when you think about it. They didn't solve why Enigma was trying to steal anything or who Enigma was. They just ended up solving a different case, a different problem. But then again, it's not really a problem because, yeah, he stole the exhibits to put in a museum when, you know, he didn't buy them or anything. Yeah, scummy. But that's how a lot of stuff in museum is it's stolen. There's a lot of stuff in museums today that is stolen. And no one cares because it's a museum. So, yeah. Vector's about to tell another story, and Amy gives him a fucking death glare, and I love it that the glare she is giving him is the Sonic CD meme. That is fucking glorious. So after that, Vector's like, all right, well, we'll let you both just get on with what you were doing. And above them is Enigma. Enigma is watching them. And Enigma is revealed to have been Magani this whole time. Magani is Enigma. Oh my god, I'm so shocked. I never could have foreseen this happening. Whoa. So, Magani goes to the crystal for Cascade City, and she's about to take it, but Vector shows up, and he's like, oh, I was looking over for you, how you doing? And she goes back to playing, like, you know, her shy self, and he's like, oh, well, you know, I hired you to help him, not arrest him, but, oh, well, that's how things work. Right? So then Vector's like, oh, well, you know, if you ever need any more detective work, just hit us up. And she's like, oh, yeah, I appreciate that. Before he leaves, though, Vector goes, oh, by the way, you forgot one thing. And he throws her Enigma's card, and he went, don't forget your card. That is fucking badass. I do like that. Why you didn't try to arrest her after, I don't fucking know, because she's a thief. So, stupid. And Enigma is watching over them, and then as she leaves the Smithsonian, she says that today marks the anniversary of the first time I was ever beaten. All those years of flawless heists were so dull. It feels good to finally have worthy opponents. Until next time, detectives, is what she says, and that is the end of the Sonic Chaotix 30th anniversary special. Fucking hell. Will we see Enigma again? Probably not. To be honest, I don't fucking care. Because, I mean, we might see her again if we ever have another Chaotix story. Possibly. If we don't, I don't give a fuck. IDW is on borrowed time as it is. We got the 100th issue, right? To celebrate Sonic's 35th anniversary, and that's probably it. I would probably bet that after the 100th issue, that's it for IDW, and that'll be it for the Sonic series. And you know what? Fucking I hope so. Jesus Christ. So, the issue overall, I will be honest, I liked it. I thought this story was very well written. You know, you have the fun little comedic through line of Amy trying to impress Sonic on a date at the Smithsonian, and she keeps getting interrupted. I like how whenever it was someone else telling the story, the art changed. Like, they had the noir style when it was Vector. They had a bit more of a different style for SBO, and then Charmy just is fucking crayon. That's great. I love that. I thought that was really good. I like how in Charmy's, they speak like how Charmy thinks they speak, and it's full of mistakes and shit. Like, that's great. I think the art of this story is really good, you know, as most IDW comics, Sonic comics are. It's got good art. You know, like, you can never say an IDW Sonic comic looks ugly. It doesn't. It has good art. I specifically think Amy looks great in this. And by the way, again, the portrayal of the characters is great. I think all the characters are portrayed very well. Charmy is really, really fucking good as being the little kid here. Vector, really good. I think Vector was done well. SBO was done well. Sonic, even though Sonic's not in this so much, so he's pretty easy to write at times. So I think Sonic was good. Amy is the standout though, because you, Daniel, did it. You made Amy Rose great. You did a good job of writing Amy Rose. You really did. Again, you beat Ian Flynn in this, which isn't hard to do. Like I said, a 4-year-old can write a better Amy Rose than Ian Flynn can. But you did it, Daniel, so props to you. Throughout this story, there is cameos of characters who look like various other Sonic characters. Now, these have been confirmed as it's not really them. It's more or less just a wink and nod. If you get it, you get it type of thing. Old Man Owl from the OVA is there. And then there is, at the end, a characters who represent Johnny Lightfoot and Sally Acorn in the back. Now, that is not them, right? It is not actually Johnny Lightfoot, Sally Acorn, maybe Old Man Owl, who knows? That is not them. They just went like, yeah, it's just characters who look like them. I think the Johnny Lightfoot one, they said, well, that is actually this version is Johnny Lightfoot. I don't give a fuck. That is not Sally Acorn. It's just a nice little cameo, right? It's just like in the Forces comic when Sally shows up in the picture. It's just a cameo for like, if you see it, you see it type of thing. So that's what that is. I think that's cool that they even did that, to be honest. And that is where we end it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. We now have done all of the 30th anniversary specials. They're all done. They're all finito. If I had to rank them, you know, if I did have to rank the 30th anniversaries, I would say definitely it would go Sonic number 1, then Tails, then Amy, then Chaotix, then Knuckles. Knuckles is the worst. Knuckles is easily the worst issue of this. Knuckles' issue is straight up bad. It's straight up just fucking bad. So, you know, this one just being good easily beats it. So there we go. That is the Chaotix 30th anniversary special. So there we go. I will not lie, and when I think the story is good, I will tell you I think it's good. When I think it's bad, I will tell you I think it is bad. So this story is good, regardless of how I feel about the writer. I think he wrote a good story. So there we go. That's gonna do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining me on this journey, and I will see you guys all next time.